What's going on, everybody? This is Qstrike, bringing you another episode of Monday Night Fight, that structured, commentated Wars2 PvP action every Monday night, because why not? Now we are going to waste absolutely no time getting into the action here today, as we get a huge trick shot off into this enemy Mesmer, straight out of the spawn point, as well as a Blurred Frenzy, just showing you the power of that short-range sword setup. That enemy Mesmer realizing very quickly that he wants absolutely nothing to do with that, he starts to kite out towards the nodes. This footage is again brought to us from Telf over at Telf TV. Big thank you to him, and link in the description below to his YouTube channel, as he's been gracious enough to supply me with footage so I can keep my channel active while I've been in contact with teams such as Alpha Collective as well as Team Paradigm, who says that they will be supplying me with footage in the future so I can continue to analyze different professions as well as the builds that they utilize so that I can be better prepared for when spectator mode is ultimately released. This build of course is Sword Pistol, which is a very melee centric build, and Telf has made some very conscious decisions on how to best make use of his different utility abilities to maximize his melee-ness, if I can go ahead and try to use that as a word. Getting rid of mirror images, he takes Phantasmal Defender, which is going to create a single illusion that takes 50% of the damage that Telf would otherwise take. There is a lot of splash AoE that does happen in melee range, so this is going to allow him to stay in melee range that much longer, as well as a Stun Breaker Blink ability, which is going to allow him to quickly get out of melee range if he decides that he's taking too much damage, or to close distance on a fleeing target. And you can see just how much damage this Blurred Frenzy does as this greatsword Mesmer rolls out of the way of it. However, all the illusions that he spawned instantly get blown up. It is just so much damage coming off of this one-hand sword. And as this Mesmer backs himself into a corner, Telf makes very quick work of him, stomping him out, realizing that the same enemy Mesmer from the start of the match is heading back into the mine. He's going to be heading over there, hopefully trying to take him out again as fast as humanly possible. Now it's a shame Telf doesn't have Illusionary Leap available, because that would have created a nice stun to get that initial Blurred Frenzy off. That would have just done tons of damage. As you see, he goes for the Blurred Frenzy just as the enemy Mesmer gets into a dodge roll, so he negated a lot of damage he would otherwise take. As Telf goes for that trick shot stun, the enemy Mesmer knocks him back, again negating the stun. But even though the Telf has not been able to land a full Blurred Frenzy off, this enemy Mesmer is just taking excruciating amounts of damage. It is now a 2v1 situation, as a friendly Necromancer shows up just as Telf gets Moomorph. He kites out. Once he realizes he is not the main focus of the enemy Mesmer, he comes back in, so when he turns back into human form, he gets an entire Blurred Frenzy off finally onto the enemy Mesmer. As you can see, he instantly gets blown up as his decoy automatically procs at 25%, which is a traded ability. Telf, realizing very quickly the nearest escape path would be the one that enemy Mesmer is going to take, he positions himself to get a pro trick shot off just as he goes for the escape, and Telf gets him with a Blurred Frenzy for the finish. It is just great intuitive instincts on Telf's part to realize what escape route that enemy Mesmer was going to take, so he could be right there to capitalize on it as he heads to the clock tower, as it is contested. Now, he currently definitely needs to try to get that clock tower in the red team's favor. Yes, they are ahead in points as it stands now. However, they're not that much ahead that they can just be like, whatever on the nodes. He gets onto this enemy Guardian. Definitely not the right target in this situation, as there is the Thief to the left of the Guardian. As the friendly Ranger pops his elite ability, rooting everybody in place, the enemy Thief returns with his elite that just does tremendous amounts of damage, breaking those roots instantaneously. And you can see what I was talking about earlier, just all the splash AoE damage that just happens to be going off in melee range, which is definitely one of the big issues with this build. So he pops his Phantasmal Defender, just showing you how much staying power he does have in melee range when that is up. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He doesn't have any of his illusions out right now. He popped a very low heal, and once he realizes that his heal is a long time away from being off cooldown, he decides to use that blink ability to break distance, trying to get out of combat, which he'll be unable to do with the spirit weapon from this Guardian. So again, he just waits for that heal to come off cooldown, goes to neutralize his point as he's just playing around with that spirit weapon. I guess those things don't take any damage. Not quite sure how that works. He tries to get onto this enemy Mesmer, immediately gets knocked back by the Guardian. This Thief sees Telf at excruciatingly low amounts of health. However, Telf gets a massive Blurred Frenzy across that Thief's face as he breaks into stealth. Telf again going to heal as he's just, dodging around, doing whatever he can to create those illusions, ultimately taking this Thief down as he goes for the stomp out here. And there's this great one-on-one situational awareness on Telf's part. The Thief did that stupid thing where they poured away and unable to get down, so he's most likely to get rallied in this situation. As he gets onto this enemy Mesmer, that was a clone running up. Telf very quickly realizes that as he sees this Mesmer respawn. Mesmer just creating all those illusions as great sword Mesmers do. And Telf just showing you that it doesn't matter. There's just so much damage coming off of that one-hand sword. Staying in melee, he gets monomorph. He probably should be cutting out this situation. Oh my god, that Mesmer is so excruciatingly low. For whatever reason, Telf's illusion is unable to finish off the almost no HP Mesmer. He pops back into his human form very, very quickly, finishing him off. And this just goes to show you just how much power this one-hand sword ability has. I know it's very quick to say, but this thief comes back trying to finish Telf off as he's going for the stomp out on that enemy Mesmer. Lots of action happening in this segment. Getting that Blurred Frenzy. Telf at 800 HP gets a blink away from that thief just as the rest of his team shows up to finish that thief off. He's going to be standing there now that they have the keep, have lost everything else, and I do believe currently that the blue team managed to pick up both NPCs while Telf was there busy with the rest of the blue team. And it's just not looking good right now for the red team. And so now after 6 minutes of non-stop combat, I can finally give a proper shout out to the Armory GW2. Sorry I would have done it sooner, bro, but this game has just been action packed. He supplied me the video intro that you saw at the start of this video, so big shout out to him. It's just such a good feeling, you know, after being contacted last week by Qstrike for the free YouTube channel background, and this week by the Armory GW2 for the free video intro. It just goes to show you that even though on such a small YouTube channel, that the Guild Wars 2 community is just so close-knit that everybody wants to help each other succeed. So I figure the least I can do is to give him a shout out, as well as a link in the description below to his YouTube channel. He does pure PvP videos. I say pure because it's just gameplay, there is no commentary. He also does a bunch of different things with Adobe After Effects, which is a ridiculously hard program to use, so he's definitely earned my respect for just being able to use that program, as we have a 2v2 situation at the mine, the friendly Necromancer, and of course Telf with the enemy Guardian, as well as the enemy Mesmer. Telf got, of course, that Moa Bird that you saw off onto that enemy Mesmer, then for whatever reason decided to sit on that Guardian that was just doing excruciating amounts of healing. Should have switched to that Mesmer. It is now a 2v1 situation as the friendly Necromancer has been brought down. Telf realizing very quickly that he's taking tremendous amounts of damage. He's going to be trying to kite out, waiting for that heal to come off cooldown, possibly going back in to do whatever he can do. He finally has that Mesmer targeted, but it is too little too late. It is now a 2v1 situation. Both the Mesmer and the Guardian are going to be waiting to get control of that mine, as we are finally getting into a Monday night fight where the person we're following loses the match. But again, it's just to show you the power of this sword pistol setup. Tremendous amounts of damage with very high survivability as long as you're playing smart and right. Telf, of course, finally being brought down by the just pure CC combo that this Guardian Mesmer is able to put on top of him. And it's just going to show you again, you know, it's just such great plays by Telf. Yeah, a lot of the times he did have the wrong target selected, but when you're kind of in the heat of it, especially when you're so used to playing outside of the match kind of range, you know, that he had with that scepter, when he gets very close range with the sword, it is kind of hard to see on the screen just all the different characters you have, you know, hitting you and all that kind of stuff. However, it definitely was great plays done here by Telf, with a little bit, you know, that he needs to work on target selection. Again, make sure you guys are checking out boonsandconditions.com, GW2BNC.com. Make sure you guys are checking out the Armory GW2, as well as Telf over at Telf TV. All the links are in the description below. This is Qstrike. Love you guys each individually, and definitely catch you next time. Peace.